Here's an example in which a ferry shuttles people from one side of the river to the other. In still water, the ferry's speed is 30 miles an hour, and the river flows directly south at 8 miles an hour. Suppose the ferry heads directly west. What is the ferry's speed and direction? Okay, so what are we talking about? Let me try to draw a good picture here, which is challenging for me. Okay, so I'm going to say, back that a little further over here. There we go. So there's the river. This is the river. And the river flows south, right? Because this is, traditional. North is up here, south is up here, east is here, and west is there. Okay, so the river flows south. And the river flows south, and then the person, the ferry heads directly west. Okay, so that means the ferry, I'm going to put him right there. The ferry is going to head directly in that direction, right, west. And he's going to try to go 30 miles an hour. Directly west at 30 miles an hour. But the river is going to pull him south, right? Because at 8 miles an hour. So the river is going to pull him a little bit. Let me change my color here. A little bit south at 8 miles an hour. That's what the river's going to do. So in reality, he's going to end up kind of going, well, definitely going, at an angle like that. He's not going to go straight across. If he aims, right, it said he heads directly west. He tries to go directly west, but then the river is going south, and so he'll go at an angle. All right, so that's what's happening. So there's how the two vectors. So basically we have to get these vectors, don't we? So we need to get the let's get the ferry vector. So the ferry vector. Well, let's call it the ferry heads. The ferry heads. He tries to head directly to the left. What is that? That's going to be negative 30, 0, right? Because this is x and this is y. He tries to go directly left. That negative is to the left, positive is to the right, positive is up, negative is down. He tries to head directly left. That's negative 30 on the x component, right? Okay. And then we have the river. The river, what does that do? That goes 8 down, so that'd be 0, negative 8. Again, x, y, the y, it's going down, south, 8. Negative is down, down 8. So there's the two vectors. The ferry heads and the river flows, you could say. And then we're going to add those two vectors to get the resultant, which is here, where the ferry actually ends up going, the resultant. So you're going to add these two, that's going to be negative 30, and add these two, that's going to be negative 8. So that's the direction of the result, back 30, down 8. As we can see right on the picture, the direction is back 30, down 8. All right. So there we go. So they're asking us, what is the ferry's speed? So speed equals the magnitude of the resultant vector, right? We got to find the magnitude. So what is that? Remember how we do that? Square root of x squared plus y squared. So that's going to be negative 30 squared plus negative 8 squared, which is 964, I think. And use your calculator for that. Square root of 964, so the speed equals, I'm getting 31.0483. So that's the speed, 31.0483 m4a-10.8 miles per hour. So that's the resultant. That's the magnitude of the resultant. That's his speed. It's how fast he actually ends up going. So notice it's faster than 30, right? He was heading straight at 30, but then the river pushed him down and it sped him up a little bit. He's going 31. Now, what direction is he actually heading in? Well, it asks for how many degrees. Notice it wants how many degrees. Let me change the color here. It wants how many degrees south of west. So it wants this angle here, doesn't it? Because this is straight west, and then they want to how much south of west. They want that angle. How do we find that angle? Well, this is a right triangle. So we can use SOHCAHTOA. So let me come down here. I'll just do it right here. SOHCAHTOA. So this is opposite over adjacent, isn't it? It's tangent. Do you see that? Opposite over adjacent. So if I can do it right here. The tangent of that angle is opposite. What's the opposite? 8 over the adjacent 30. That's opposite over adjacent in that little right triangle there. So therefore theta is the inverse tangent, right? See what I just did? Maybe I did that too quick. I just took inverse tangent of both sides. This one canceled. This side it's inverse tangent of 8 over 30. So hit the buttons on your calculator. 8 over 30. I'm getting 14.9314 degrees. So that's how many degrees south of west. He gets off course by that many degrees. 14.93. Yeah, probably that's enough. 14.93 degrees south of west. So it's all about those vectors, isn't it? There we go.